My name is Michael Hayes. I'm 52 years old, the sort of guy who spent most of his days keeping things steady, working reliably, raising my kids, and doing my best to be the husband a woman could count on. I've never been one for theatrics, never raised my voice, never the type to barge in and demand attention. I've always figured real strength comes from quiet endurance, from just stand put no matter what. My wife Sarah used to say she admired that in me, or at least that's what she claimed. We've been married 19 years now, together for 22, with two great kids. Noah, who's 14 and already stands shoulder to shoulder with me, and my 10-year-old Emma, who still slips little sketches onto my nightstand before heading off to school. Life had its bumps, sure, but it was solid, ours, and I figured we were holding up just fine. But this isn't a tale about the routine we built. It's about the evening everything cracked wide open. It kicked off on a Thursday morning that seemed ordinary at first. Cereal, school bags, nagging Noah for the umpteenth time to grab socks that actually match. Sarah had been away for 3 days on a work conference in Seattle. She handled sales training for a big firm, thrived on those sleek hotel lounges, fancy room service greens, and the buzz of being the poised exec on the go. Normally, she'd touch base daily with the kids, maybe snap a pic of her lunch or the skyline from the venue. This trip, radio silence. A couple of clipped texts, delayed comebacks, one missed call at 2:17 a.m. she never circled back on. I chalked it up to a packed schedule. Those events are noisy, frantic, draining. Still, a nagging little doubt kept nudging me whenever I glanced at my screen. That morning, as Emma stirred her oatmeal and Noah doom-scrolled his feed, the thought struck me out of nowhere, and I blurted it aloud. What if we surprise Mom this weekend? Emma's eyes lit up like I'd promised a holiday. For real? To her hotel? She beamed, practically bouncing. Noah even lowered his phone long enough to shrug. Sounds all right, he muttered, teen code for hell yeah. That sealed it for me. By lunchtime, I'd cleared Friday from work, snagged tickets, and lined up a flower shop by the Seattle Hyatt for a ready bouquet. Emma swore by sunflowers because they scream joy. I didn't push back. I shot Sarah a quick text, light, easygoing, nothing heavy. Crickets. That should have rung louder alarm bells than it did. Maybe I wasn't ready to hear them. Friday arrived in a blur. At the terminal, Noah kept eyeing the monitors. Emma hugged her well-worn plush rabbit from preschool days, and I acted like I wasn't refreshing my messages obsessively. Still nada from Sarah. Voicemail city. The flight dragged on forever. 3 hours aloft. Every second fighting off the whisper that something felt off. We touched down in Seattle, and I dialed her once more, straight to voicemail. But Emma's grin was electric. No way I'd cloud it with my unease. We scooped the rental, grabbed the blooms, and headed to the hotel. I kept the kids hyped, spinning yarns about Mom's jaw-dropping reaction, how she'd probably tear up at the sight of us, how it'd top any family highlight reel. Midway through, though, I caught myself. I wasn't fully buying it anymore. The Hyatt was that classic spot. Gleaming tiles, hushed atrium, folks wheeling designer luggage like they owned the place. I parked the kids on those oversized leather benches by the water feature, while I handled check-in. That's when the first fracture showed. Looking for my wife's room, I told the clerk, Sarah Hayes. She scanned her monitor, gave a quick dip of her head. Miss Hayes is in 815. Want me to ring up? Her vibe held a subtle edge. Yeah, thanks, I replied. She dialed. It buzzed endlessly. No pickup. She's probably rinsing off, I offered with a tight grin. Mind if I snag a spare key? Kids are dying to hand her these flowers. The clerk paused, a beat too long, and a chill slithered down my spine. Then she swiped a card. Absolutely, sir. The door eased open smooth as silk, like it'd been expecting company. I lingered on the threshold, eyes scanning the low light, brain scrambling for innocent spins on the scene unfolding. First off, Sarah's jacket slung over the chair, not neatly draped, just dumped. Sloppy, unlike her. Then her pumps kicked off near the vanity. Her bag unzipped on the rug, outfits tumbling out like she'd pawed through in a hurry. First off, Sarah's jacket slung over the chair, not neatly draped, just dumped. Sloppy, unlike her. Then her pumps kicked off near the vanity. Her bag unzipped on the rug, outfits tumbling out like she'd pawed through in a hurry. Harmless enough solo, trips make messes, folks slack on housekeeping. But then came the intruders, a gray button-down, guy's size, balled up at the bed's edge, polished loafers by the lamp, and peeking from the cracked bathroom door, a splash of aftershave beside Sarah's toiletry kit. I locked up, straddling the frame, rooted in place. The sunflowers Emma chose dangled from my grip, cellophane rustling, and it hit me how out of place they looked, cheerily garish against the gloom, like props from another story. I crossed the threshold. The plush rug swallowed my steps, muting them like it knew the gravity. I eased the bouquet onto the side table on autopilot, and that's when her phone caught my eye. Screen aglow, unguarded. Sarah never ditched her device like that, ever, not even charging at night. But here it sat, open to a chat. If Hubs rings, ghost him, sticking around longer. I went statue still. No gasp, no flinch, just fixed on the words, the timestamp, that flirty wink, the offhand gut punch. Pulse thrummed in my skull, deliberate and deep, like my insides were voting on fight or fade. Rage urged me to hurl it, grief to crumple. What won out? The same old me, measured, unflashy. I laid it back down, surveyed the chaos. Tangled bedding, discarded bath sheet, twin mugs by the sink, duplicate fobs near the remote. Evidence roared without subtitles. Then murmurs, faint at first, sharpening. The lock tumbled, and on reflex I sidestepped to the drapes, blending into the backdrop. In swept Sarah, knotted in a crisp white robe, strands dripping, cheeks rosy from the steam. Giggling over some quip, a sound I hadn't caught from her in ages. Her gaze landed on me. The mirth evaporated. Grin iced over, face ashen. Michael, she breathed, cinching the fabric. Trailing her, a guy, similarly robed, toweling his mop. He halted mid-stride, squinting like he'd stumbled into a rehearsal. Sarah skipped the hysterics. No wail, no sob, no collapse like in those old movies. Straight to prickly justification. You could have texted ahead, she snapped, as if I'd crashed a boardroom, not her side hustle. And in that instant, a buried piece of me, the one I'd sanded smooth for family peace, clicked into focus. I skipped her gripe, ignored the stranger, no bellow, just scooped the sunflowers, cleared the path. Kids, I murmured toward the corridor, come meet your mom. Sarah's stare ballooned in panic. Michael, wait, no! Too late. Noah rounded the corner first, all lanky teen poise masking his radar. He clocked her get-up, then the dude lurking. His features set like flint, too adult for 14. Emma scampered after, pack thumping her back, waving a crayon note from takeoff. "Mom," she chirped, plucking a bloom to offer. "We flew in special." Sarah paled like a ghost. The robe guy edged inward, rediscovering his manners. I clocked her turmoil, jolt, shame, remorse, and a flicker I hated naming, dread. "Emma, honey," Sarah faltered, pasting on a wobble smile. I had no clue. Why didn't your father?" I pressed the bunch into her rigid palms. "He messaged you," I noted softly. "Best keep that from Emma's sight." Sarah's inhale caught. She flicked to the phone, Noah's glare, Emma's sunny obliviousness. For once, words failed her. The quiet thickened, heavy as lead. I knelt, fastened Emma's bag, and added, "All right, team, pack it up." The guy cleared his throat. Hey, this is messy. I had no idea she—" My palm flicked up, sight unseen. He zipped it. Noah folded his arms.
"Michael,
Emma frowned,
wait,"
puzzled.
she pleaded under
Sarah's
breath.
facade splintered.
"Let me make sense
eyes
of this."
glassy, tone
"Not here,"
quivering,
I
but
replied,
dry-eyed
even
still,
keel,
not
detached.
breaking down.
The
not with
anti-drama
them
she
watching.
anticipated. "Clothes on. We'll hash it in the lounge." She dipped her head, retreating with him. I herded my pair to the lifts. Blooms limp in Emma's fist. Noah rigid as rebar beside me. The car dinged open to the foyer, and I braced for hush. Nope. Right there by reception, luggage stacked, jackets zipped, stood Sarah's folks. They'd plotted a pop-in too, and beat us by minutes, thanks to my innocent group text from Dawn, back when ambushes felt fun. Her dad pivoted, beaming. "Michael, perfect timing. We figured we'd—" His cheer faded on Noah's scowl, Emma's pedals, my mask, and Sarah emerging from the adjacent shaft, locks tousled, liner streaked, him half-veiled in her wake. Her dad pieced it in a flash. One beat, then his gaze bored into Sarah, laced with a sorrow that etched fresh lines on his brow. "Ellen," he murmured, "this the fool you threw it all away for?" Sarah's mom stifled a gasp. Sarah squeezed shut her lids, and I knew, no plea, no spin, no flood of sobs could rewind her pics. I steered my kids past the tableau by their elbows, murmuring as we hit the doors, homeward bound. We quit that place in a vacuum-sealed hush, thick as fog. I hoisted Emma, she was wiped, bewildered, mid-query on Mom's fright before nodding off on my chest. Noah matched my stride, teeth gritted, knuckles buried in his sweatshirt, straining for manhood but betrayed by his bitten lip. No rearward glance. No urge to watch Sarah flail or beg or claw after what she'd torched. The night chill slapped us crisp and bracing, a mercy after the hotel's chokehold. At the lot, I secured Emma's straps, passed Noah his clasp, mute as stone, fired up the dash. No tunes, no chatter, just engine purr and my kids' soft huffs in shadow. Midway to the strip, Noah cracked the ice. "Dad, heading home? Actual home?" "Yeah," I confirmed. "Now?" A curt bob, gulp, window vigil. "Got a loop back for her?" It landed like a foreseen haymaker. "Nope," I said, "we don't." Rearview check. Emma dozed, rabbit wedged under jaw, fingers lax on a wilted pedal. It nearly undid me. At the counter, the rep probed if we'd bailed early. "Yep." "All good?" Blank stare. Some sagas don't fit small talk. We snagged the late bird home. Emma conked out on my sleeve the whole haul. Noah? Wide-eyed void, buds plugged but silent. Me neither. Eyelids down meant replay. Sweet, Sarah's shock, the shadow man, my innocence framed with posies for a stranger's prize. Dawn cracked as we taxied in, pale gold rimming the east. I toted Emma to our ride, eased the hatch, and wheeled us back. The house, cozy, lived-in shell, greeted us alien. Eerily still, pristine, mocking the quake. Emma stirred on the sofa mid-coffee brew. "Daddy, Mommy's where?" Yawn, blink. I paused, a tick, enough for her radar. Mom's wrapping her trip bug, home soon. Half-fi, sure, but my final one. Post-meal, Noah hit to rinse. Emma zoned on tunes, and I parked at the island, glaring at the void where Sarah's pings should have flooded. Her quiet thundered. Noonish, the line buzzed. Ignored. Encore? Swiped away. Not spite, sanity. Her timber, too raw, too soon. Maybe ages off. By dusk, barrage mode. Barrages of buzzes, rings, clips, pleas, alibis, vows and overdrive. All ghosted. 5 sharp, chimes. Noah hollered, "Dad, company's here." Gut nodded. Portal swung. Sarah wrecked. Shadows under eyes, tresses knotted, airport wrap still on. Cab hummed curbside. "Michael, I beg you," she rasped. "Talk? Solo?" Swollen lids, blotched cheeks. Briefly? Echo of the Sarah I recalled, fleeting. "Later," I said. "Kids?" "Tucked in, solid. See 'em?" She winced. "They're ours too," I noted, low, firm, reined. "But not tonight." Bob of defeat, fresh tracks. It was dumb. Irreversible dumb. Don't ice me. No roar, no venom, no shatter. "Sarah, I leveled. I didn't lock you out. You bailed on us pre-zipper." Palm to lips. "Mercy," she mouthed. "Let me unpack."
"Explain." "Sunrise," I held, "not dusk." She sagged, then peeled off as the horn tooted. That eve, Noah slunk to the den, plunked next to me. "Her return ticket punched?" "Back in town, yeah, but shifts incoming." "Split bound?" Steady tone, Mine wavered. Could be, I owned. We'll navigate. Chin dip, knees hugged, a rare lean, subtle anchor after moons of distance. No cohabiting if she's shacked with him, he grumbled. Won't happen, I vowed. Swear. Dawn 2, us at the slab, bare. No buffers, just wreckage stare down. She spun yarns of frailty, fluke, one-off fog. But core cut clean, serial steps, not slips. Forgive me, she broke at last, timber fracturing. I get sorry, skimps, but it pours from me, Michael. Heard, I acknowledged, doesn't glue it. Then the dam, heaves, streams, full fracture. No solace from me, not mean, mandatory. I'd shouldered our Heart Hall solo for epochs. Now? Dropped. I laid out the split filing. No pushback, just a weary tilt, owning the forfeit. Months blurred. Ink dried, split set. Noah stuck put. Emma ping-ponged early, but queries morphed. Less, Mom. More, cookie shift soon, Dad? One twilight, 3 weeks post-Seattle, Emma burrowed into me mid-book. Daddy, she murmured, Mommy grounded still? I unfolded, pecked her crown. Love, grown-up slip-up, but you two? My universe, locked, eternal. And post that, a knot eased. Not pardon, not ease, but horizon, unscarred path, ours alone. If you hung in this long, thanks for the ear. Craving more raw gut-wrench tales from the trenches? Hit subscribe.